Happy Thursday. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for coming. Okay, today I want to talk about content creation, high scalps solutions, and why. Put your questions in the sticker tab. Put your answers. Sweetie cakes, how you my Yuri's wants 199 ACG. Here's the thing, right? Right off the bat, I'm gonna say this. When your screen name is like, your company brand name or something like that, and it's not an actual name, right off the bat, that's that's detrimental to your social media content right away, right? You should be using your first name or your full name as your screen name, because every time you interact, every time you post content, people see that, right? And I'm gonna remember you. If I keep seeing, like for example, if I keep seeing comment from like Sun Yi, Sun Yi, Sun Yi, that name is gonna resonate. Okay, please put your questions in the sticker tab because I can't follow the chat. So if you put it in your sticker tab, I'll give you some ideas. Now, um, I'll start with this. One of the first things that we have a question here. Give me a strategy for luxury clothes brand and how I make it successful. Ooh, I actually don't have a good answer for that. Like I'm not like luxury, like first of all, product, like e-commerce products and like you know clothing brands. That's not really my area of expertise because I believe that those kind of business is like a completely different thing than um than like building a personal brand or building like an educational brand or something like that, right? So I I get pecan. So um what happens is like uh like the content strategy for two of those are completely different. And I feel like there are people who are like specializing in luxury brands and things like that. So, and I'm not that person, so I'm probably not going to be the best. From my experience, what I see is like luxury brands are all about visual aesthetics and how you show the products, right? The branding. So probably that's probably what I would focus on. And you know I would probably focus spend most of my energy and time on maybe like an influencer marketing. I would try to probably get people to you know like send my products to like celebrities and things like that and try to get them to wear it, take pictures of it or something like that. Okay, put your questions in the sticker tab and then I will go through them. And also like go in there and vote it up so you guys can like hit like button and vote it up so you can so I'll start from the top. Here's one thing that I see people not do, right? Like this is like the most lowest hanging fruit, which is Instagram stories. You have to understand that every time you post Instagram stories, especially if you use like one of the most underutilized, I feel like sticker or feature in Instagram is the question sticker. And every time you do a question sticker and somebody like answers that or somebody replies to you in DM because of the story, that's a lead. That's a lead generation, right? So if you're a freelancer, if you're a coach, if you're any type of person that works with clients, like this is your easiest and fastest and cheapest way to generate leads. You post on Instagram. Let's say, okay, for example, let's say you're a social media marketer or you're a brand strategist or something like that. If you post on your Instagram stories and you ask a question like, how often do you post content, right? Or you ask a question like, let's say something like, uh, why aren't you on social media, something like that, or when's the last time you updated your website? And people start answering those. Every single one of those are leads. Do you know what I mean? So if I say, let's say I'm a web designer, and I say, when's the last time you updated your website, right? And somebody says 3 years ago or something like that, right? Then you can reply to that person and be like, hey, you probably can use an update or blah 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 blah. Or if you ask somebody like on a question sticker tab, like, what's the reason why you're not doing X? What's the reason why you're not focusing on TikTok? Or what's the reason why you're not what's the reason why you don't have e-commerce on your website? Or what's the reason why you don't do lead magnet? People are going to answer, it's like, oh, it's because I don't have time, because I don't have blah blah. Then every single one of those become leads. So you should really utilize Instagram stories. That's where actually that's why I decided to do this Q&A, to see if I can help you guys come up with content idea. Okay, let's go. How catches the audience? How catches the audience? They love it. How do you know catch? Okay, I think you mean like how do you know like what content catches people's audience? Well, here's the thing. You don't know. You don't know, right? If you remember that TikTok video that went viral, where, well, here's like even a simpler answer. Answer me this. You guys know Charli D'Amelio on TikTok? So Charli D'Amelio is that teenager on TikTok who does this stupid fucking dances while she's talking and shit like that, like everyone else. She's the highest, most followed person on TikTok, right? And she has her own fucking TV show. Why the fuck is she famous? Why is she the most followed person on TikTok? What? Nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows why. Okay. There was that video that went viral of a guy skateboarding and drinking his cranberry juice, right? And singing like that Fleetwood Mac song. Like, why did that video go viral? Nobody knows. Why did that video go viral over a billion other videos out there? Nobody knows. Okay? So do not even try to guess. Don't even try to guess what's gonna go viral. Don't try to outsmart the audience. Don't try to outsmart because the only way you're gonna know if it's gonna catch the audience, it's gonna catch people's attention, if it's gonna go viral or it's gonna perform well, is if you just fucking make it and post it. So the only way you're gonna know is if you post 1,000 pieces of content. Clearly, you're gonna know, okay, this is what people like, this is what people like, this is what people like. So the answer to your question is no, you can't know. The only way you can know is by putting out a shitload of content and then seeing what performs. And that's the reason why when comedians write jokes, they have to go on stage and tell that joke like 1,000 times over and over and over differently to see what's funny or what's not. A comedian, when a comedian writes a joke, there's no way they can know if that joke is funny or not. How you know is you just say it, and if people laugh, then it's funny. If they don't, it's not funny, right? Content creation, same thing. If you post something and it gets a lot of views, a lot of shares, and a lot of engagement, that means it's good. And if it doesn't, it is not. And the only way you can know that is by keep putting out content and seeing what people like and what people don't like. So yeah. So don't try to guess success. Don't try to outsmart people and say, oh, I know what's best. Here's the thing, right? Back to the, sorry, I'm still on the previous question. Here's a good analogy. A lot of people are so worried about looking good. So what happens is, for example, when you're playing basketball, right? And you take a shot, one shot, and you make that one shot, then that's what they want to do. Like, oh, wow, so impressive. He made that shot, right? But if you make 100 shots and you miss 90 of them and you only make 10 shots, that's not impressive, right? Like making one shot out of taking one shot and making that one shot is impressive. But taking 100 shots and missing 90 shots and getting 10 shots in, that's not impressive because you only got 10 out of 100. But it's still 10 versus 1. And that's how real life works. Real life is not like a basketball where you only get one shot. You get as many shots as you want. So if you want to be a good content creator, you're not going to be able to make one good content and go viral. You have to make 100 good content or 1,000 good content. And that's really the only way. Okay. B. Belli. How to be an expert at this field? Content creation. Again, you're not gonna like my answer, but how do you become an expert in anything? How do you become an expert? Like, was Tiger Woods born out of the womb knowing how to play golf? Like if you're an expert tennis player, did that tennis player just out of nowhere? Like, no. So every time you see somebody that's really good at anything, it's because they put a shit ton of hours into it. It's so fucking funny because, like, people join Night Owl Nation and they think they can be a great content creator. They can be a good content creator by spending like 2 hours a week making content, or 2 hours a week writing stories, or 2 hour a week practicing, right? And they think that they can be good. Like, if only life was that easy, everybody would do it. If you can spend 2 hours a week making content and become good at content creation, everybody will be successful. Do you really want that? So here's the thing. I don't want it to be easy. When I started, and if I look at other people around the same time that I started, I grew 50,000 followers in 9 months. In 9 months, I got to, Gina, can you put the question in the question tab? I got to 50,000 followers in 9 months. I got there pretty quickly. But for those 9 months, I was spending like 2 hours to 4 hours a day on content creation, engagement, and shit like that, right? And so I was basically spending like 15, 20 hours a week on social media. 15, 20 hours a week on making content and shit like that. And I know people who are spending 30, 40 hours a week, and then they grow their account. So if we all had to spend that many hours, if all of us spend like 20 fucking hours a week on making content and shit like that, you think you're going to get there by spending 2 hours a week? You think you're going to get there by spending 5 hours a week? Then that's not fair, right? That's not a fucking fair world. If you can spend 2 hours a week and get there, then everybody in the world would do it. I'm actually happy that it's hard. I'm happy that I had to spend 20 hours a week in order to grow my account. Why? Because I know that you lazy fuckers are not going to spend the 20 hours a week. And that's why you're not going to get there. So that's why I'm glad. I'm glad it's hard because, well, I have to spend 20 hours a week. I have to keep practicing. Bring it on. Bring it on. Because I know fucking 99% of the world are too lazy and they're not going to do it. And that's why, here's the thing. Like, I love that people are lazy. I love that people are dumb. I love all of that shit. Like, people complain about, like a lot of people complain about like people are so lazy, people are so stupid. I can't believe this. They watch the news and they're like, people are so dumb. I love that people are dumb and I love that people are lazy because now I just have to work a little bit. I just have to work a little bit harder. I just have to spend 20 hours a week on social media and I can beat everyone. I can beat the 99% of lazy people. So how do you become an expert in this field? Just put in the fucking time. You're not going to get there overnight. Okay. Bucky Trey, how would you approach your social media strategy for a barbershop? It seems like posting pics of haircut. It seems like posting pics of haircut becomes redundant very quickly. So I guess what I see a lot of barbers do is they show the result, like the before and after outcome. But I think what I would do is I I would post content of the actual process, like maybe and like things that people might not know about. Maybe the conversation you have. I mean, I'm not really like too. I don't know this business that well, but I would probably have like, if I'm having a conversation with the client and he's saying, "Oh, I want it like this," and blah 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 blah, I will record that part, and I will record the part where you're actually cutting the hair, and maybe in time lapse or something like that, so people can see the actual process and not just the outcome, not just the result, right? Because I think that's what people say. Like there's YouTube videos out there, like literally. And also another thing is, don't be afraid of being repetitive. I see this YouTube channels out there with 1 million, 2 million, 3 million subscribers, and every single video is the same exact shit. Like, for example, there's a guy, all he does is he's like a car detailing shop. What he does is he washes cars and he cleans the car interiors and shit like that. So he vacuums the inside and he'll steam it and he'll like make it all perfectly clean and shit like that. And that's all he does. So every video is him detailing another car. There's another YouTube that I follow where this person, all they do is every day they clean carpets. It's like the dirtiest carpet ever, but they clean it, right? And that people love that. People love that. It feels satisfying when when you see a dirty rug and then you see it getting cleaned, like time lapse. It's satisfying. When you see a dirty car and you get it clean, it's satisfying, right? The same thing, right? If you see a messy hair and you're cutting it, and when it's done, it's satisfying, and that's what they want to see. So what I would do, actually, this is fucking perfect. This is like, this is what I would do: Instagram Reels, Shorts, TikTok, right? So when you start, have a time lapse video, right? So that you can see the whole thing in like 30 seconds or a minute, right? So you start, it's a messy hair, and then you clean it, and then maybe have a sticker that says like, "Oh, watch till like see the result will be amazing," or something like that. So people are gonna once you start from the beginning and you start cutting, people are gonna watch and be like, "Oh, I want to see what happens at the end. I want to see what happens at the end," right? That's what they're gonna do, and keep doing that every single. That doesn't matter. It could be the same video over and over and over. Like, doesn't matter. And that's what I would do. Yeah, you know what I would do actually? Have them tell you what they want, right? So record a quick video of telling, "Oh, I want this," and blah 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 blah. Start with that, and then start the video of you cutting their hair. Now, once you start doing that, people are gonna watch and be like, "Oh, I want to see what happened. I want to see the end result." It's kind of like, you ever seen those video of like street photographers who goes up to people like, "Can I take a picture of you?" Or he does pictures, right? Or somebody makes a video and you see the behind the scene first of how they make the video. Usually people watch all the way till the end because they want to see the outcome. They want to see how it ends. They want to see the result, right? So actually for you, you don't want to show the final result of the haircut until the very end. That's the payoff. They're gonna watch the entire video because they want to see the end. So yeah. Yeah, somebody said that for barbershop it's gonna be about like what you can do, rely on the skills. Yeah, that's a good one too. Okay. But a lot of this, you have to realize that a lot of content, like what does well, what doesn't do well, it's not logical. It's not really like it's not really logical because the the like when you do the barber thing, right? Here's what I'll tell you. You know that the people who are the most skilled, the best in the world, are not necessarily the most successful. Like in and the ones that are most successful are usually the ones that understands all these like fluff and all this bullshit that people love, and they give it to them. Those are usually the most successful. So I'll leave it at that. And then like you can decide which way you want to go. June most definitely asked how to sell myself as a filmmaker, especially on social media, which I'm terrible at. How to sell myself? I guess that really depends on what kind of filmmaker you are. But I mean, here's the thing: like if you want to, if you're a feature filmmaker, if you're a documentary filmmaker, or you want to do that type of film, like you want to work in the industry, like film industry, that's different than if you're a filmmaker like Mr. Beast is a filmmaker, right? Mr. Beast is also a filmmaker, but his area of expertise is making viral videos, right? So it really depends. So if you want to make films, like I've seen, there are these channels on YouTube that just like, um, you know, put. Okay, I'm gonna give you all the different ones I see. So I see like people that are filmmakers that are like good at doing little skits, right? Like those Saturday Night Live type of skits. So they make those like short little skits. They film it in like one day, edit it, and they put it up. But they put up video like every week, right? So I see people do that. But I also see people like actual full production like type of people who post films, but that's a lot of work, right? You have to hire a crew and you have to do all of that just to fucking create video. That's not, that's hard, right? But if you want to work in the film industry, like if you want to work in the industry, I actually don't think that social media is going to help you. Like I think the only thing you can do in social media is just talk about your life as a filmmaker, day in the life of a filmmaker, and like the things that you're working on, so that you can attract other filmmakers who want to see that kind of stuff. So you can build some sort of authority in that field. But the way you're going to get business is by networking and meeting the right people, right? Like even when you see filmmakers out there, yes, like they have fans, they have people, the audience who love their films and shit like that. But at the end of the day, those are not people that pay your bills. The ones that are paying your bills are producers, right? So you have to network and meet with a lot of producers. So yeah, I would say that's more of a B2B type of business. Okay, this and Nari, this and Nambi, this and Namdi. What social media strategy will you use for agricultural fresh produce and local wine business? I guess that's if you're like a farm, if you're like you know like a local farm, I guess I would just show all the work around the farm. You know what I would do actually? Every day I would just give the phone to one of the farmers and then have them like film shit like around, like have your farmers actually film shit around the farm, right? Like there are actually a lot of YouTube channels that I watch that shows that kind of stuff, which I love. Like um yeah. Yeah, so I would kind of show the process of how you do the work and how you make the products in the farm, rather than like the actual store or something like that. Okay, next. Here, hi Anastasia. I recently moved countries and starting from square one again. I am graphic designer, but also love photography and traveling. And my main income source comes from teaching English. So what should I do and what content should I focus on? Okay, it depends, right? If you're not worried about money at all, if you have like, even if you don't have to get any new clients or anything like that, you can still live for like a year. If you're not worried about money, then figure out what's the thing that you want to invest in, right? Do you want to invest in being a designer? Do you want to invest in being a photographer? Or do you want to invest in travel vlogs, right? Or something like that. My advice to you is this, and this advice will probably work for a lot of people. 80% of your energy should go in the thing that makes you money, right? So for example, if teaching English, if the way for you to make the most money is teaching English, then right now 80% of your energy should go in there until you until you're at a place where you just don't have to worry about money, because you're like there's money coming in from that every month, and you just don't have to worry about it, right? Then you can start expanding, and then spend 20% of the time on your hobby, the thing that you love, whether it's design, photography, or whatever it is, right? And then once you're at a place where you have income coming in for teaching English every month, and you never have to worry about it, then you can start expanding that 20%. You can start spending more time on design, or blah blah blah, until that becomes the 80%. So that's what I would do. So, but then if you feel that you can make money from either design or photography, what I would do is I would do that, right? Like if you think you can make a living from designer, but just in a high level, here's my advice. Don't try to, like, I see a lot of people do this. Oh, I love design, but I also love photography, and I love traveling. So I'm gonna be a content creator who mixes all three into one, and I'm gonna be the traveling designer who talks about travel and photography, and I'm gonna take photos and do something like. Don't do that bullshit, because when you do that, like nobody gets what you're doing. If you do that, you're gonna lose to the person who just talks about photography. You're gonna lose to the person whose focus is just travel. You're gonna lose to the person whose focus is just design, right? So don't try to. I see people doing this, right? They try to force their hobbies. Oh, I have all these hobbies and interests. I want to combine them all, and I want to force it to fit into this one thing. That's my niche. No, nobody fucking asked for that. Nobody wants that shit. I see people that are like consultants or engineers or funny. It's like I see designers do this. I'm like, oh, I'm a designer, but I love yoga. So I'm gonna be a designer that specializes in yoga, or like, oh, I'm a brand strategist, but I love spirituality and I love, like, holistic this. So I'm gonna combine it. I'm the designer who does spiritual designs. No, that's all fucking bullshit, okay? Those are just shit that you made up that nobody's asking you for. So don't make up shit just because these are all your hobbies. Like, so do what you like, just focus on one thing. And if you really like travel, and let's say you just focus on photography, forget about travel, just focus on photography. Then when you keep doing it and you really have all this passion, it'll automatically come. It'll automatically show through your content and things like that. You don't have to force anything, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Okay. Next, Adriana S26. Hi, I am part of People of Color Alumni Chapter. How do we energize these alumni to want to be board members, volunteers, and be engaged in social events and community outreach? So if you want to build a community, I think what you have to do is you have to show the community, right? So if I go to that's how it works, right? With yoga communities, running groups, and like these kind of social related communities and things like that. What people want to see is that, oh, that looks so fun. That those people look so awesome. I want to be a part of that, right? And to do that, you have to keep showing these things. So like what I would do is, if there are already other volunteers, I would show what they're doing day to day, like life in the day of John, the volunteer at this chapter, right? So show different aspects of you have. So this is what happens. So one of my friend, he used to do whatchamacallit, I forgot what it's called, but it's like one of those like network marketing, like you selling product thing. And he had a community of like 30 people, and every time I go in on social media, he's like showing, like, like they'll be out in the park and doing like push-ups and together, or like they'll be doing exercise together in the morning, and he'll film it. And then everybody looks like they're having so much fun. Everybody looks like they're really passionate about what they do. And then when you see that energy, you're just like, oh, I want to be part of that. Oh, I really want to be part of that, right? Here's another thing. Within my community, Night Owl Nation, right? Every time I do a meetup, every time I go somewhere and I do a meetup, and we do a meetup, and then I make a video, or I take a picture or something like that, like people are like, oh my gosh, like I wish I was there. Like, it gets people interested, right? So what I would do is, focus on the people, the actual members and volunteers, right? What you're doing, show you guys like working on your project, having fun, and show the community like doing that. And that's what's going to get people to be like, oh, I want to be part of that community. And also, if anyone else here is looking to build communities, right? Like, one of the key things in the community, in the beginning at least, is going to be you involved in the community. So many people think of communities like this. Oh, I'm up here and I'm trying to build a community, and I'm trying to facilitate. No. The best way to build a community is by you being the community first. You're the first member of the community. So don't separate yourself from the community. You are literally one of them. Therefore, if you're the one who's starting it, go reach out to every person in the community. Go talk to everyone. Get to know every single person. Because when you do that, trust me, like, you got to scale the unscalable, right? When you focus on one person at a time, and you constantly do that every single day, like, here's the thing. Every day, why don't you do this? Every day, spend an hour a day, personally DM or email or a phone call, reach out to every single member of your community. Every day, 1 hour a day, do that, and just have a chat. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, how's your blah, blah, blah. Oh, how's your brother? How's your sister? Oh, yeah. Like, every single day, do that. I guarantee you, a month later, you're gonna be amazed what the result of that is. So how do you build a community? One member at a time. You don't build community at scale. You build community at one member at a time. And same goes for your social media too. You don't get to 1 million followers by, oh, I need to scale this shit. No, you get there by one follower at a time. When I first started, I think until like I had 5,000 followers or something like that, I literally DM'd every single person that followed me. Every time somebody followed me, I DM them. Like that, you do it one at a time individually. Okay, Boost Gram KW, enamel pins, metal pins, they are hard to take photos since they are small and have tiny details. Couple things. So I have a friend who actually sells pins, and she's really popular. Well, if you're selling a product, it literally comes down to the product, right? Because that's what they're buying, right? If I'm selling a pin, I'm literally buying the pin, so I better love the pin. And the reason why people love her pin, it's not just because of the design, it's because of the content. Like, she sells these pins that have like little quotes on them or something like that, and they love that. But yeah, camera wise, there's like special cameras that you can get that a lot of jewelry companies use, where you can really see the details of small things. So if I were you, and if you're selling those kind of product, the tiny little like jewelry type of things, I would definitely invest in something where a camera that you can use for that. Because if that's your business, obviously you're going to get use out of it. Okay, next. I'm going to try to go faster. Ryan's Witch. Startup Studio. Okay, I'm not going to look at the website right now. But what does that mean, Startup Studio? I don't know what that means. So That's your number one problem. When you say startup studio, does anybody here know what a startup studio means? I don't know what that means. Is it a music studio? Is it a design studio? Is it a agency? Do you do branding? Do you do websites? Do you do logo designs? Do you make videos? Like, what does that mean? So when you confuse, you're gonna lose. Okay? So don't try to be clever. Don't try to come up with words that doesn't mean anything. Don't try to come up with broad words that means million different things because you're afraid of losing niching. If so many people are afraid of niching down. It's like, oh, I don't want to say I'm just a designer. Because then what if somebody needs photography? I can do photography too. Oh, what if somebody needs website? I can do that too. Oh, what if somebody needs this? I don't want to call myself a web designer because then I'm going to lose all these opportunities. So I'm going to call myself a creative studio. It's like, what the fuck is creative studio? Nobody knows. If you do that, then you're going to lose everyone because nobody knows what the fuck that means. So yeah, so I need more info than that. Okay, next question. I'm a video editor. This is from Rahi Jain. I'm a video editor and social media content creator. What should I do to generate income? First of all, I don't know what social media content creator means. Because like in what area, right? But if you're a video editor, you should generate income by editing videos for people. So you should, what I would do is, and here's the thing, if you're any kind of freelancer, right, video editor, designer, if you're a freelancer, there's no easy way to do this. So many people are so focused on investing all their time. Is like, how do I get clients? How do I get clients? How do I get clients? It's so fucking easy to get clients right now. It's literally so fucking easy. Like, it's not like how I was when I started, okay? Like, when I started, I had to like fucking pay money and do cold calls and go knock on doors and like there's so much shit like you have to do back then in order to just get right now. There's literally clients everywhere, right? What I would do if I were you is I would literally reach out to 50 people a day. I would reach out to 50 people per day. Go on a job site, search for a video editor, anybody looking for a video editor, and I would literally email every single one of them and say, hey, I'm not looking for a full-time position, but I am a video editor. Do you guys do any contract work? Like 50 people per day, right? 50 people per day, that's 350 people per week, right? In a month, 30 days. So what is that? That's 1,500 people per month. In 3 months, that's 4,500 people. If you think you reach out to 4,500 people, you're not going to get client from that. You're going to get client from that. And all you need is one good client, which leads to my second advice. Stop spending all your energy, keep getting new clients. Because then a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, 5 years later, you're still going to have to fucking spend all your energy, keep looking for new clients. What you want to do is in your first year, blow your client's mind away. Provide such an exceptional service. Like, provide service that's so exceptional that this person feels like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I got so lucky. I can't believe I got so lucky with this video editor who's so dedicated. He's so caring. He's so hardworking. And he goes over and over beyond my wildest imagination that I want to introduce this guy to everyone. Every time somebody asks me for a video editor, I'm going to introduce him because he did such an exceptional job. And every time I need a video editor, I'm going to go to him. If you do that with every single client in your first year, I fucking guarantee you'll never have to worry about clients for the rest of your life. Okay? So don't focus so much on how do I get new clients. Focus like literally 80% of your energy in delivering an exceptional service. Like so exceptional. Make yourself so trustworthy. If they fucking email your question, reply right away. Okay? Go over and beyond. Be so exceptional. Like with my clients, when I first started freelancing, they trust me so much that they will literally trust me with their firstborn child. That's how much they trust me. Okay? Gain that kind of trust. So think to yourself, what can I do for this client that'll make that person trust me so much that they'll trust me with their firstborn child? And if you're not doing that, then you're not doing good enough. Because every fucking freelancer out there is giving satisfactory. Everybody does the bare minimum. Everybody does satisfactory. So what happens when you do satisfactory work? Then you just become like everyone else, right? What do? When you go out and eat, like every time you go out and eat, after you eat, do you go, every restaurant you go to, do you go to Yelp and go like, oh, this is the most amazing place, this is the most amazing restaurant I've ever been to? Do you do that? Or every restaurant do you go to afterwards, do you go to your friends and be like, oh my gosh, this place was amazing, blah, blah, blah? Do you do that? No. You only do that when the service was so exceptional that it's so out of the ordinary. That's when you tell other people about it, right? So are you, as a service provider, as a freelancer, or as an agency, are you that one exceptional one? Or are you just satisfactory like everyone else? Like, that's what I'll ask you. Okay, move on. Next question. Ruth Domo, organization and life balance, sharing organization techniques and tech apps such as Notion, Habit, Todoist, ClickUp. Okay, right off the bat, when you say all of that, I don't really know what you do. So if somebody doesn't know what you do, then you're not even gonna get a chance to sell to that person. So I would try to be hyper specific to the thing that people are asking for the most. For example, a lot of people are not like, most people are not going around, people like, oh my gosh, I wish I could hire somebody who's an organization and life balance person who can help me organize and balance my life techniques and help me with habits. And that's not what they're doing. What they are doing is, there are people who are like, I need a coach, I need a life coach, right? Or there are people that are like, oh, I need somebody to come and clean or organize and clean up my room, my office, right? Or be like, or there's somebody be like, oh, I want to use Notion and I want to use Notion to make to-do lists and blah blah blah. I need a Notion specialist who can help me do that. That's what people are looking for, right? Nobody's looking for this vague thing that doesn't exist, that that they don't even know what it is. So that's where I would start from. So right now, when I see this question, Ruth, it's just too much. It's too many different things. So yeah, I would try to narrow them down to like, what is the exact thing you do? And here's another thing. When you do too many things, when you're doing like, oh yeah, like I do whatever it takes to help your brand grow, or I do whatever it takes to help you get your life organized, and whatever that means, it doesn't matter. If it's like, and sometimes it might be like, I'm me setting up your Notion for you. Sometimes it might be like me helping you how to create a to-do list. Sometimes it might be like, how do you organize your physical space. Sometimes it might be like some coaching and mindset stuff. In whatever ways I can help you. If you do that, you're just not going to win, because there are people who out there who's just a accountability coach, whose focus is on accountability and They know everything about accountability inside and out. They know the process. They have a set process. They run their clients through every single day, 10 times a day. They've done it 1,000 times. Like, there's no way you're going to beat that person who just focused on that, because this person knows this thing inside and out, right? If somebody is just a Notion expert and this person has 100 different Notions and he wrote a book on Notion and exactly how to do step-by-step on Notion, he has about, and all they do is Notion, there's no way you're going to beat that person. So I would really, really narrow down into, like, again, I'm going to give the same advice as before. Too many people think, you know what's the most annoying about these times right now, modern days? Everybody, almost every entrepreneur I talk to says, oh, I'm multi-passionate. I know how to do a lot of things. I'm just good at so many things. Oh, I'm good at this. I'm a spirituality, and I'm good at coaching, and I'm good at this. I'm good at speaking. I'm really good at understanding people. I have all these soft skills. Like, like that's what everyone says. And then they're confused because I don't know how to. Well, I hate to break this to you. You're not special. You think that you're multi-passionate because I'm really good at talking to people, and I'm also really good at like understanding what they want, but I'm also really good with like aesthetics and design, but I'm also really good with the whatever all of those things are. I'm really good at speaking on stage. Like, if you put me in a room with this person, I can do this. Like, well, here, I got news flash. So does everyone else. Every fucking human feels that way. Everybody thinks that they have these multiple skills. Okay? Every designer I know fucking feels like, oh yeah, but I'm also good in photography, but I can edit videos, and I can do branding, but I can also do websites, and I can do. Everyone does that. Nobody fucking needs that shit, right? If I hire a logo designer, if somebody hires me as a web designer, there's no fucking other designers out there that can compete with me, because I know fucking everything about websites inside and out. Do you understand me? So if you're the kind of designer who just dabbles with web design a little bit, get the fuck out of here. You can't compete with me. And there's people like me in every area. So first, nail one thing. Become exceptionally good in one thing. Become the best in one thing. Become the best person in organization, or become the best person in Notion. Become the Notion girl, right? When it comes to Notion, nobody knows Notion better than Ruth. Do that first, and I guarantee you everything else will work itself out. Okay? I know I was being a little bit harsh there, but yeah, it's I scare because I care. Okay? Because like, I could have been like, oh, that's great, so you should do this, and I can give you some fucking bullshit advice that makes you happy and that makes you feel all good and warm and cozy inside, but that's just not going to help you. Then you're going to just be stuck in that same delusion for a long time and never get out of it. And then after years and years of mistakes, you're going to be like, oh fuck, I've been doing it the wrong. And one day you'll realize it, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is what Sun was trying to say before, or thank God Sun said that, and something like that. Okay. AHR. What is the content strategy social media? What is the content strategy social media agency creating website and social? Okay. So I think you're saying that you're an agency that makes website, right? Now, first of all, you don't want to be a web design agency that also does social media, okay? Because there are social media agency out there who has like a set process, who knows social media inside and out. They have a process that's so good that you're not going to be able to compete with that. And then there's web design agency out there where their process is so good. Like for our company, like we've made hundreds of websites. So we have a process for everything. There's no way you're going to be able to compete with us when it comes to web design. Okay. So again, I'm going to say the same thing. First things first, you're going to have to focus on one. Okay. And then I'm going to say the second thing. I built my entire agency, for 10 years without social media, without making any social media content. Okay. So that should say something, right? And all the biggest agencies that I know, like just think about, hey, Christina. So think about this. Think about the most successful agencies that you know. Think about the most successful freelancers that you know. Okay. Did they get their client? Did they become successful because of social media? Or did they become successful because they're well known in the industry and they're well connected and they get referral from clients? Okay. If you're in a service business, if you're a freelancer, if you're an agency, anything like that, you are in the networking business. Okay. The way you're going to get clients, the way you're going to get become successful is by networking, meeting a lot of people, and having people refer you clients. So that's what I'll say. Like that, I actually think that if you're an agency owner, and if you're like putting your energy in making content, you're kind of wasting time. My battery is dying, so I have to get my charger. 1 second. Okay, let's see if this works. My charger is not working. Uh-huh. All right, I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Can I get an extension cord? I think I got it. Okay. Nope. That doesn't work. Okay. Okay, we're good. All right, can you guys all hear me? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, Nazreem Ramsey. As a copywriter for creative entrepreneurs and SaaS companies, but is there anything apart from educational content that can be shared? Or is that Uber? As a copywriter for creative entrepreneurs and SaaS. Okay. Anything apart from educational content that can be shared. I actually also think that for a copywriter, I don't know if social media is like really the best. Well, it depends, right? Here's what I'm thinking. if you're like an agency or freelancer, right? Copywriter, designer, video editor, blah blah blah, where your goal is to get clients, and you're growing your social media, and you're spending your time, and you're trying to use your social media to get clients. That's like trying to kill a fly with a cannon, right? Like, you guys have heard that phrase, right? Like, trying to kill a fly with a cannon. It's just overdoing it, right? Like, if you want to grow your brand through social media, through like mass kind of communication, the reason why you should do that is because you have a scalable business. You have a product business where you can sell 1,000 of the same thing, right? If you have $100 business and you want to sell it to 1,000 people and make $100,000, that's what social media is for. If you're looking for like 3 clients and you're trying to invest in your social media so you can get 3 clients, that's a fucking waste of time. Do you understand what I mean? So if you're a copywriter, it's like same thing. You need to go out and reach these people that could be your potential clients. I guarantee you that creative entrepreneurs and SaaS company, right? I guarantee you the CEO of Salesforce is not fucking following copywriters on fucking social media. I guarantee you the CMOs in those companies are not looking for copywriters on social media. I guarantee you what they're doing is they're going to another company or another CMO or another marketing person who might know copyright. Okay, I hire copywriters all the time. Do you know how I find copywriters? Do you think I go on social media and be like, oh, is anyone a copywriter? Or it's like, you think I'm following copywriters? And no, I already know people who knows copywriters. So I will go to that person and be like, oh, I really love your copy. Can you introduce me to your copywriter? That's what's happening. Like, you really need to understand this. If you want to work at a certain level, the way people hire each other is by and here's the reason why. Here's the reason why. Okay, let me put this away. The reason why is because when I hire a copywriter, when I hire somebody, it's less about portfolio. It's less about their skill level. It's more about, can I fucking trust this person, right? Like, when you watch when you hire a babysitter, right? Are you like looking for the best babysitter in the world who can do this with your child but like, are you looking for those specific skills? No. When you're looking for a babysitter, you're looking for the most trustworthy person. Can I trust this fucking person with my baby, right? And most services are like that. Most services that people hire you for, one of the biggest fear in their head is, can I fucking trust this person? Am I gonna hire this person and are they gonna not meet my deadline, or are they just gonna disappear, and are they gonna be a pain in the ass to work with? Because as a client, I had so many bad experiences with vendors so many times that my number one priority is, number one, can I trust this person? Once I know that I can trust this person, then it's like, okay, can you do the job, right? But I don't give a shit if your copy is so amazing if I can't fucking trust you. And that's the reason why most CEOs, most high-level executives who are making these decisions, they're gonna turn to other people for referrals. And that's how this business works. And that's why I keep saying, if you're a freelancer, if you're an agency owner, really the best way to grow your business is get into those network and earn their trust, right? Not through content, not through putting out content. But here's what I'll say. Every content, if you're making content for business, every content you're making is educational content. One more time. If you're making content for your business, every content is educational content, right? Because the reason why somebody will hire you, right, or somebody will buy your product is they need to know what they're doing wrong, and you need to teach them, right? So in Night Owl Nation, when we practice storytelling, this is all we talk about. Every piece of content, you're teaching a lesson, okay? So if right now I'm teaching you a lesson, this is a content, right? So I might make a content like this, right? So everybody's trying to grow their social media and get clients from social media, but put yourself in the other in your client's shoes, right? Let's say you're the client, and let's say you're looking for a wedding planner, or you're looking for you're looking for somebody to clean your house, or you're looking for a gardener. Are you following gardeners on social media? Are you following fucking babysitters on social media? Are you following your doctors on social media? No, you're not, right? If you're looking for a doctor, what you're doing is you're going to your friends and be like, "Hey, do you know a good doctor that you can introduce me to?" That's what you're doing, right? So that's why trying to get your clients to the social media is dumb, right? So what I did is what I did just there right now is I told you a story. I gave you a story on why you should not use social media to try to get clients, right? And I educated you on that. So that was an educational content. So every content is educational content because your clients are here, your potential clients are here. This is your product, but they're not buying your product. Why? Because they don't fucking know why they should buy your product. So you need to educate them on it. Okay? You have to show them what you know so that they'll buy from you. All right, let's keep going. There's a lot of questions, so I probably won't be able to get through everyone. Zeroto, Ryan Switch. Zeroto Beta is a product studio. Companies rely on us every day, design, develop, and launch their products. Okay, company. I don't know what that means though. Like, does anybody here can somebody help me in the chat? Like, does anybody know what that means? What's a product studio? Company rely on us every day to design, develop, and launch their products. What does that mean? So if I want to launch a product, I want to sell bathtubs. Are you gonna make bathtubs for me? Are you gonna design and create bathtubs for me? Like, what does that mean? Like, what? Yeah, I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Are you an agency? Are you an agency that makes websites for them? Then, so are you a web design agency, or are you a marketing agency? I really don't know what this means. So you're a photographer. You're a photo studio that takes photo. I don't know. I'm not gonna. Okay. Next. EABDES. Hello. What about energy retrofit company? Isolation, heat pump, windows. Isolation, heat, energy retrofit company. So I guess you sell like insulation, like you sell insulations, heat pump, windows. I also don't know what that means. But if let's say okay, window is something I know, right? So let's say you do insulation and you install windows and shit like that. I guess this is what I would do, just like what I was telling you about that car, the car detailing company. And like I see a lot of people on TikTok and YouTube do this, like gardeners that also do this. Like they'll go to a house, like whatever project that they're working on, they'll describe, okay, this person, the broken window, blah blah blah. So today we're gonna replace this, and you do that, right? Or so I guess explain your project. You have to be. It almost has to be behind the scene. Think of yourself as like this, right? When you watch those fucking what do you call that? Those renovation shows, kind of like you get to see behind the scene of how a renovation is done, but for your business, right? So think of it as like you're doing a reality show, and every time you do a project, every time you do work for clients, you're gonna show like the process that you go through. So you can either do it like that, or like if you look at those cooking channels, right, where you see like, okay, today we're gonna make this, and then they start chopping up the ingredients, and then they put it all together, and then you see the progress up. Like that's what you want to see. So if I go on a TikTok and I'm like, okay, today we have a broken window here, so we're gonna try to replace it, blah blah blah. So step one, like and then you see, right, you take out the window and blah, 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 you replace it. What people want to see is the end result. So you have to make them. So they have to watch the whole video, and then they can see the end result, something like that. Okay, there's not a lot of like. I thought a lot of people are gonna be like coaches and like designers and or somebody who sells courses and things like that. But most of you are not, huh? Ibrahim Kobuli. 5 best profiles that you respect in Instagram. 5 best profiles there. Let's see. There's an account called Visualize Value. I'm sure a lot of you already know that. There's not many accounts that I really respect on Instagram, but Visualize Value I like. There's a guy named Pablo Roche. I don't know if you guys know him. Let me see if I can find it. I forgot what his Pablo Rochat. PABLO.ROCHAT. Like, I love that guy's content. It's fucking amazing. Like Banksy, people like that. So the kind of content creators that I love are not like, I'm not sitting here and looking at like Gary Vee, Mel Robbins, and these fucking self-help marketing gurus. Like, I'm not looking at their content. I actually rarely consume their content. And the reason why is because I just feel like I'm just fucking hearing the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. Like it's the same like it's like I don't really love following those kind of content, because I feel like the self-help industry is like just so flooded with information, right? And it's not like we don't know what to do. It's not like we don't know that we should be authentic. It's not like we don't know that we should not care about what other people think. It's not like we don't know that, I need to be consistent. It's not like we don't know that I need to wake up early. It's not like we don't know that, like it's not like we don't know that we should like do the things that make us uncomfortable. We know all of those things. If you just watch if you just spend a week watching these fucking self-help fucking guru videos, like all of that shit already. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I don't feel compelled to watch it, because I'm just gonna watch another Gary Vee video where he says the same shit again, where he says like just post 70 times a day. I'm gonna watch another Mel Robbins video where she says like, oh, just don't worry about other people think, like just or like just be like, oh, just if whatever you're afraid of, just go after that fear, and just fear. And then I'm gonna hear the same shit over and over again, so I don't want to do it. I don't feel the need to listen to it. That's why the content that I love is like the one I was telling you about, Pablo Rocha, Visualize Value, where I see this content, I'm like, oh wow, this is different. Like, this is like, oh, how did they come up with the idea for that, or something like that, right? So yeah. By the way, like the same thing for you guys. You shouldn't be looking at other people's content that much. Like, here's what happens psychologically, right? If you are a life coach and you keep going out and looking at Tony Robbins and all these other life coach and fucking, like Oprah and all of this content over and over and over again, what happens is every day you're gonna feel like, oh, there's so many of these content out. There's so many people out there talking about authenticity. There's so many people out there talking about vulnerability. There's so many people talking about habits. There's so many people talking about consistency. Everybody's talking about mindset. Why should I do it? Everyone's already saying the same thing. Why should I do it? Right? Like people are already saying this. What makes me different? And so here's the thing: the more content, the more you consume other people's content, the less confident you're going to be about posting your own content. I mean, at least that's how it is for me. Like, when I'm not looking at any content and I'm just creating content, I'm usually pretty confident. I'm like, okay, I need to talk about this. I need to talk about this. But once if I'm like going down this fucking rabbit hole and just looking at other people's content, going down this YouTube rabbit hole and be like, I don't feel confident at all about putting out content because I'm like, oh, there's already a video about that there. There's already So here's an advice. Here's an advice that I would give you guys that I know you're not going to listen to. You're probably not going to listen to me and you're probably going to do it anyway. But here's a good advice. For the next month, don't look at any content. Just fucking lock yourself in a room, shut out all your social media, and don't look at any content, and just focus on creating content. Because that's going to change. If you're having trouble with content creation, that's going to change your life. You're probably not going to do it. Ibrahim, okay. Thank you, respect, bro. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's one good one that I haven't covered yet. Oh man, there's so many questions here. This one got a lot of votes up. Mayuri's one. Mayuri Sawant. Where do we start with content creation? No idea feels good enough at the start. Yeah, that's how I feel about every piece of content that I create, right? When I first start working on the carousel or something like that, I feel like, this is not good enough. This is the result of consuming too much content. So step one, block everything out. Stop looking at content. Step two, where do we start with content creation? No idea feels good enough. Yeah. Let me think about that. I talked about this in Night Owl Nation, but making content for me, storytelling and making content is a lot like writing a joke for a comedian. Okay? So you can ask the same questions again. Like if you go to all this stand-up comedian, you say, how do you come up with ideas for your joke? How do you write your ideas? Like they're like, oh no, it's just, you just got to keep doing it. Nobody fucking gives you a straight answer. Like when you go to an artist and you say, how did you come up with an idea for that? Or when you go to somebody like who wrote a book, like, how did you people give you some bullshit answers. Like, oh, you just got to keep trying. You just got to keep trying. Or like, they're like, oh no, the idea just came to me, or something like that. But try this, right? For me, this is how I do it. Every day, I'm very aware of my surroundings. Like I'm very aware. I pay attention to everything. And what happens is every day something happens that makes me go like, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? Or something like that, right? So, like okay, we talked about this in Sunday service. So, last week, I went into a store. And I wasn't gonna buy anything, but this guy was so overly friendly and he was so nice to me, and he was like, it was a store that sells weed. This was back in New York, and he was so nice to me, and I ended up like spending like $60 there even though I just went in to look, but because this guy kept talking to me, that happened, and I walked out that store and be like, oh shit, I can't believe I wasn't even thinking of buying something, and then when I started thinking about that, it reminded me of all the other times I've done that, right? Like that's actually what happens in Las Vegas. If you go to Las Vegas, like even if you weren't thinking about shopping, you're gonna end up buying something because there's just so much shopping everywhere. Like Las Vegas somehow creates this environment that makes you want to spend money. I don't know how. So right away, I just thought about that. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, every time I'm in Las Vegas, I go there and be like, okay, I'm not gonna spend any money, and then I end up spending so much money. Something about that city, something about that environment, makes me want to spend money. Okay, so what is it? And I want to start thinking about it. Right? That's how an idea starts. If you really, really pay attention to everything that happens in your life every day, oh, that's interesting. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, like Larry David talks about this, right? He went out to dinner with another couple. Him and his wife went out to dinner with another couple, and the guy was like, "Okay, I'll pay," and then he paid for the bill. And then the wife asked, and the guy's wife asked, "Aren't you gonna?" And then Larry David thanked the guy. He's like, "Oh, thank you for dinner," right? And his wife goes, "Aren't you gonna thank me?" And it's like, it's our money, like it's And Larry David's like, "Oh yeah, thank you too," right? But that was an interesting moment. Like his wife felt the need to say, "Oh, aren't you gonna thank me also because it's our money?" Like that shit like this happens in our lives every single day. If you really, really, really pay attention, interesting things like little interesting moments like this happen every single day. And what I'm doing is I literally pay attention to every single one of them. Oh, it's like, oh, it's interesting how that this person just, even though he should have cut in lane, they didn't. Oh, it's interesting how that this person was so focused on his phone that he didn't even see that the light changes. Like every day you're gonna notice these things. And every one of those things you can think about it, right? It's like, oh, that's interesting. Why did they do that? Oh, when do I do that? Okay, what does that say about humanity? What does that say about society? And then you can keep going, and this is how all my ideas come from. So I realized that my content process, how I get ideas for content, is a lot like how comedians write their joke. Whenever I notice these things, the other day I noticed that I noticed a comedian talking about how he'll order something, and if they get something wrong, like he wouldn't even mention it. He doesn't want to complain and that's how I am. And I started thinking about, oh yeah, if I go to a restaurant and somebody gets my order wrong, I don't even want to confront them. I don't want to have that awkward, uncomfortable conversation or piss off that waiter. So I won't say anything. I'll just eat the wrong thing, right? And that's like my push. I'm kind of a pushover. That's my people pleaser side coming out, right? And then that got me to think about how some people over complain, right? But most of us don't complain enough because we want to avoid uncomfortable conversations, right? And then it got me thinking about Karen. When a Karen is like, oh, let me talk to your manager, and they start over complaining. Like how actually, most of the Karens are getting what they want because of that, right? Or something like that. So that was like an idea that comes. So now I'm talking about it, right? And I'm talking about the concept with everyone, and that's me talking about it, me coming on Instagram Live, me going on podcast, me making content. That's just me working out this story through just talking about it and through just having conversation about it. And I'm working through this story. And at some point, that story is going to be like, okay, the lesson of this story is this. Then once I have that, then I start writing it. By the way, here's a good tip. Once you have a kind of a vague idea of something, if you kind of if you have this, oh, I think I want to talk about this or this concept, but you're not clearly sure what it is, but it's vague, just write it down. Just stare at a blank page. Get rid of your phone, get rid of all the distraction, get rid of everything, and go get bored. Sit in your desk with the empty blank paper and just stare at it and get bored. And then just start writing about it, right? So if I'm talking about this this Karen thing, right? I'm gonna write down the word Karen, and I'm just gonna stare at it and get bored. Get bored. And when you get bored, what happens is when you get so bored, your brain's gonna start, like, your brain wants to find something to do. So your brain's gonna start connecting the dots. It's like, oh, Karen. It's like, oh, why it's good to be a Karen. Oh, yeah. And then you start writing and you're writing. And at some point it's gonna get somewhere and be like, oh yeah. And then I'm gonna come up with a carousel that says something like, oh, what we can learn from Karens. Something like that, right? And then I start writing, and that's how it goes. Like, it's kind of like how all writing goes. Whenever I write something, in the beginning, I don't even know where to start. I have no idea. But I just keep writing, and it's messy, It doesn't make any sense. But you do that for an hour, 2 hours, and then like some time goes by, and then all of a sudden everything clicks, and be like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, actually that should go here. Oh yeah, I should talk about this, and everything just starts. It starts writing itself at some point. If you just keep writing bullshit, I guarantee you, at some point, you do that long enough, it's gonna start writing itself. And it's the same thing happens in design. When you keep designing, at first, when you blank canvas, it's like, oh, I don't know, where should I start from? I'm gonna draw a box here. Let me draw, like, I don't even know where to start from. But once I start kind of putting together this mess, like, it starts kind of designing itself. It starts coming together itself. And I don't know how to explain it, but if anybody's like written papers before, if anybody's written anything long, or any designers here, you probably know what I mean. Like, at first it feels like nothing's happening, nothing is working, and then at some point everything clicks and you get into a flow, and then everything just comes together, or something like that. Okay, guys, I already went like 30 minutes over. I'm gonna end it here. There's a lot of questions here, so maybe what I'll do is, if I haven't answered your question today, come back next Thursday. I'll do the same exact topic again next Thursday, so you can come, you can tell me what you do, what your business is, and then I'll try to I'll try to answer it. Or actually, you know what I'll do? I'll put a question sticker so you can tell me what you do. But be specific about what you do. I want to know exactly what you do. Okay? Like, so that I can help. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers. Bye.